All right, I'm going to sprinkle y'all with a little bit of Bruce commentary today. So we're going to go get into ESPN, Terrence Crawford, and Max Kellerman. Let's go ahead and do it.
Terrence, is it true that you have said that it would take additional money over your normal purse to fight in front of no crowd, or that you wouldn't take a pay cut to fight in front without a crowd?
Yeah, no. Listen, my contract states I'm not taking no pay cuts. If we have to fight for the minimum, then so be it. But as far as that pay cut and whatnot, it depends on who we fighting.
You know, that's a hell of a thing to say for somebody who has a promoter like Bob Arum. To me, that only drives it deeper or further, or keeps him further away from Bob Arum actually making fights and getting fights for this guy. He already struggled with getting this guy fights, even when the economy and everything is booming and everything's regular. So how do you think he's going to act now that Terrence Crawford talked about he's not going to take pay cuts, he's not going to talk this? Every time you turn around, Bob Arum is talking about who's gonna put up the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? So I just think that's kind of I understand, but I think that's kind of a crazy thing to say for Terrence Crawford, given the fact of his current situation. It's only going to further drive Bob Arum to do shit about his situation. But then again, that's my opinion. Keep going.
Bob Arum has said he respects that. Bob Arum says he respects fighters who think that, who feel that way, but that the show must go on, so he's got to use fighters who will fight. He mentioned 4 fighters for you. He thought where the fight might be made. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao is the fight many people would like to see. And
that fight is a farce. It's not going to happen. That's just something that they tell Terrence Crawford fans to keep us passive and keep us wishing and hoping, but that's not going to happen. Bob Arum has stated several times he has given Pacquiao and offered Pacquiao the fight, and Pacquiao has turned it down several times. On top of, Bob Arum himself said he didn't want Manny Pacquiao to fight a Terrence Crawford. So once again, that's just something that they throw up to keep you entertained. It's nothing more than a distraction. Fight will not happen.
He also mentioned Ugas. He mentioned Kell Brook. He mentioned Sean Porter. And, of course, there's Errol Spence. Can you take me through your thinking about each one of those fighters, starting with Manny Pacquiao?
Well, Manny Pacquiao is a fight that we still currently looking forward to getting.
And this is just a side note. Notice how Manny Pacquiao is too old to fight a Vasily Lomachenko, but he's not too old to fight a Terrence Crawford. Isn't that strange? I'll digress.
But, like I said, the pandemic has messed up a lot of things as far as money issues and whatnot, and the fans not being able to actually come and see the fight. So I really don't know how that will fare against any top welterweight in the division, because when you look at the whole landscape of the whole thing is going to come down to money, and if you can't provide the proper money for each fighter, then how is we going to make a fight happen?
Terrence, Pacquiao's the biggest name, and he can still fight at a very high level. Witness his fight against Keith Thurman, his win at his age. But the number one guy that I and many others would love to see you fight, at least before his car accident, is Errol Spence.
I used to get real mad at Errol Spence for not stepping up and doing what he's supposed to do, because I'm a throwback fan, so I'm looking for fighters to be throwback fighters. I'm sorry. I know I'm wrong for looking for Sugar Ray Leonard quality type of fighters in this era. It's just not going to happen, and these guys are just not cut from that pedigree. But this is what I will say. I do understand Errol Spence a little bit better now. Errol Spence is in a winning position. And if I was his team and I was overseeing over him, unfortunately, yes, I would do the same thing. As a fighter, I would not. But as somebody who managed him, I would do the same thing, because he's in a great position to stall and age Terrence Crawford out, because he has more than enough fighters to live off of and eat off of. Terrence Crawford is the one that's desperate, so they can strictly starve him out and put him in a position where he's more likely going to beat him later on down the line. is strategic. I don't really condone it, but I do understand the business part of it. I wish that these fighters would maintain the same mentality that we see of the yesteryears and the throwback fighters, but these fighters are nowhere near like that. They're more savvy. They're more about their money. And as far as wanting to be the best, the check comes first. The best is the last thing on the mind. They rather have the illusion of being the best at this time. I can't necessarily blame them. I can't necessarily condone that either. I just have to say it depends on the individual and the kind of person that I am. The kind of fighters that I grew up on and loving are all people who would jump at the opportunity to be known as the best. But you have to be honest, that's not these era of fighters.
To me, would be the best matchup in boxing. Both guys in their primes, at their peak weight, great boxer punchers, the whole thing. First, since Errol's accident, have you heard from him? Anything about him, about his condition? Is that fight still appealing to you?
Well, Errol, he's stated that he's fine. He's training. Nothing's really wrong with him. And he's preparing himself for Danny Garcia. So, after this fight, we're all going to get a glimpse, how he will react coming off a car accident of that magnitude, and being that he's taking on a tough opponent in Danny Garcia, because Danny is by far no walk in the park for anybody. So, we all going to get our answers come fight night when him and Danny share the ring together.
Well, let me bring something up that most people are not thinking about. The fight with Danny Garcia is going to further drive a wedge between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Errol Spence is really going to be on his high horse. Do you want to know why? Because the return of Errol Spence is going to do good numbers. And he's going to further prove that this is why I'm A-side. This is why you need to bow down to me crap. That's exactly what's going to happen, because a lot of people are going to want to see how Errol Spence perform. His team know that. So this fight with Danny Garcia, it's going to do some good numbers. And it's going to once again prove why he said that he's A-side and stuff like that. That's going to cause more problems because Bob Arum is money hungry. You feel me? Let's keep going.
You ain't lying about the welterweights, Terrence. You're swimming with sharks in this division. I believe you're the best among them, but of course, you all have to prove it in the ring. Errol barely got by Sean Porter, who's barely got by Sean Porter, who's barely got by Sean Porter, who's a very tough guy.
Max Kellerman is 100% right. As far as how you guys, well, some of you judge Errol Spence, you overrate Errol Spence. Errol Spence is not that good. Is he a talented fighter? Yes, he is, but he is not that good. When I see Errol Spence, I don't see anything that stands out that's really special to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be totally honest with you. Caleb Plant stands out to be a more special fighter to me than Errol Spence. I know some of you just didn't hit the floor with a heart attack, season on the ground and all that shit, but that's facts, man. Errol Spence is not that damn special, and Sean Porter proved that because the easy work worked his ass. You know what I'm saying? I didn't call it the easy work. Errol Spence called it the easy work. He set his own self up for that fall. On top of Mikey Garcia knowing what he was supposed to do and he didn't do. As once again, Sean Porter caught him saying that he tried to knock him out, but he couldn't knock him out. Then he said, no, I wanted to box, but we all know he really wanted to knock out. Because if you go back and listen to Errol Spence, interviews, he said that's the ultimate way to win. That's what I'm always looking for.
Sean Porter is one welterweight who hasn't been afraid to mention your name, has said on TV on a rival network that it's like people are ducking you. They kind of don't want to talk about you. And he'd be willing to fight, according to Sean Porter. What do you think about a Sean Porter fight?
Well, that's a good fight. Like I said, if that's the fight that he wants to pursue, then, we'll talk about it and so be it. I don't duck no fighter. I never turned down a fighter, so I won't stop now, But my whole thing was, I'm looking for the titles. I'm trying to become undisputed. Me and Sean is actually good friends and whatnot.
See, and that's what people don't want to hear, and I don't even want to hear that. I don't care that you're best friends. You know what I'm saying? Just like you guys can train together, you can spar together, you can fight your friend. You know what I'm saying? You can totally do that. It can totally be competitive and all that and the nine. The fact that these two guys are friends means absolutely zero, at least to me over here. Because I can get in the ring and beat the fuck out of my friend right now. You know what I'm saying? We still friends when we get out the damn ring. Inside there, we're competitive. You know what I'm saying? That's just how the fuck it is, you know? But we don't feel no, that's my friend, I'm gonna go easy on him. I'm like, nah, man, we be trying to take each other head off. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Good work. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So I never understood that this is my friend, now I understand brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'll understand that, but I'll never understand the friend thing. You know what I'm saying? And since you feel that strongly about Sean Porter, then we all know who Sean Porter lost to. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. And I know for a fact that he don't want to step nowhere near Ugas because it's too much of a risk.
But my whole thing was before he lost and before all the him and the Errol Spence, there was no mentioning of us having a unification fight, no nothing. You know, so I feel some type of way about that, but it don't matter, you know, at the end of the day, we all gotta fight each other. And I'm willing to fight everybody.
Hope so. Well, you say that with a smile on your face. I hope you're right about that. It would be a shame if this era passed and you didn't link up with the other best welterweights in the world. So when the dust settles, we can see who's left standing. I believe it'll be you, but, you know, it is very tough at the very top. Meantime, this idea has been floated recently that in the absence of a welterweight opponent, big name guy they can get in the ring with you, maybe the winner of a Jose Ramirez-Josh Taylor super fight at junior welter could move up, particularly if it's Jose Ramirez, and make a big fight with you. What would your thought be about fighting one of those junior welter champs if they were able to unify and move up?
Crush him. Simple.
Nah, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's why this boy is my #1 pound for pound. See, he got that switch. When he turned into blood, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about right there. And he will crush. I will put Terrence Crawford up against anybody. But my thing is this. If you keep letting this time pass and pass and pass, he already doesn't fight. None of these fighters do, but he already doesn't fight enough, frequent enough for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of these fighters' problem. They don't fight like the throwback fighters do, so they don't stay as sharp. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm totally with that. I said either go up or go down. Give me something, but do not waste your youth, man. Do not waste your youth, because this is what all this is about. Everybody begging and pleading because we know what you are. Okay? We just want to put you in front of the people. You know what I'm saying? So we can show the whole world. I don't have a doubt in my mind. Nobody has a doubt in their mind. But you just treading water, bud.
Whenever you're ready, I'm gonna crush him. Simple.
Terrence, appreciate you coming on the show. I see even the look on your face tells me that you're more optimistic, it seems to me now, than you were, say, a year ago, that maybe some of these fights can get made. I, too, am more optimistic about it. Top Rank and Heyman now apparently on better terms and doing business. I really hope that you can get those opponents in the ring with you, because this could be a fantastic era. Thanks for joining me today, champ.
Thank you.